Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what?
Back. I am your host, your girl, the CEO Shakima, and oh my goodness, we are at episode 6 of the Gurl, Yes You Can series. Oh, I hope you guys are enjoying it just as much as I am. Of course, we got to pay homage, and we'll be right back.
Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what? Say what?
Are back and I am ready to get into it. You know, we got a shout out to to Whitfield for this song. Like I said, I listened to it several times before I even come before you because it just puts me in the space, in that headspace. And it's just so fitting to me and my personality and to everything I stand for. So, as I said, let's get right into it. Make sure you guys have caught up on episodes 1 through 5 because this episode right here is probably going to be one of the best. And I know I say that every time, but it's going to be one of the best because we're going to be talking about finances, right? We talk about, being a mom, being an entrepreneur, just doing what makes us happy and, contributes to our happiness. But we got to talk about finances. We have to. So I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of studying. So I came across something, right? And this really, I said, you know what? I got to talk about this. It says women are 3 times as likely as men to say they can't afford to save for retirement and have significantly lower rates of financial literacy. Generally speaking, women earn less, save less, and live longer, but are still responsible for the same living expenses men pay. I found that to be very, very interesting. And I mean, we can talk about this for hours, but of course, I don't want to keep you long, but I really want us to tune in to this. Okay? Why is it that we are the ones that say we can't save for retirement? Why are we the ones that spend more but save less? The good thing is we live longer, so we have more time to get it together. But I want us to zone in on, why do we say we can't save? Are we not budgeting, women? I want to talk about that because I'm a living, walking testimony when it comes to ruining finances. I am. If it's taken me a lot of years of my life that I can't get back, of messing up my finances, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. It's because I had no discipline. I had no discipline. When I saw something, I bought it. I didn't even think twice about it because I was making the money. You guys know that I was an engineer for 17 years. I was making the money, been making 6 figures since 2008. So when I saw something, I just bought it. I had no discipline. And discipline is hard because we live in a world that's buffet style, meaning you just see all of these things at one time and it's hard to resist. It's like it's calling you. right? So you have to have discipline. So when I saw that on annuity.org, I was like, oh my God, I got to talk about this. I got to talk about this. How do you develop discipline? The first thing you have to do, ladies, is you have to create a budget. You have to create a budget. Now, I'm going to tell you the main reason why we don't create budgets, because it's a harsh reality. And I've talked about this on the budgeting of going from engineering to entrepreneurship. I talked about this. Budgeting is the most important. It's the first thing you have to do when it comes to developing discipline. Now, why is it a harsh reality? Because we think, right, that it's going to show us that we're living above our means. And most of the time we are, right? Because we live in a world that's like a buffet, right? And it's hard to resist. But let me tell you what that budgeting tool is going to show you. That budgeting tool is going to show you, yes, how you're living. It's tracking your income, right, to your expenses. The benefit of that budget, the biggest benefit of that budget is to, hey, you can have all of this. This lifestyle that you're living that you can't afford to live, this budgeting tool is going to show you how much more income you need to generate to be able to live that lifestyle, right? Prime example, you use that budgeting tool, right? And I offer that in my list of services. You use that budgeting tool, you plug your expenses, you plug your income. And what if it says, okay, you're $1,200 over budget, or you're $600 over budget a month? What does that mean? That means every month you need to have some additional income coming in, right? But don't settle for 600 because the 600 is just going to make the field leveled, right? Which means you'll just be getting by, right? So if you're living $600 over budget, generate some income, right? That's going to put you $500 more, right? So don't just stop at 600, go 1100, right? Because 82% of Americans don't have rainy day funds, which is only considered to be $500. So every month you got $500 of comfortability if something happens. Because how many of us agree that when it rains, it pours, right? So that's the first thing we have to do, is develop that budget, understand where we are so we know where we're going. And I hope you ladies are following me, because we have to talk about financial literacy like we talk about religion. We do. It's not as important as religion, but it's just as important as religion, because you have to have money to live in this world. To have the necessities that you need in this world, you have to have money. You can't even get free water. You can't even get free electricity. So you have to have money to have the necessities to be able to live in this world. Now, if you didn't come from financial literacy has to come from you. If your parents didn't instill it in you as a child and you have children, guess what you have to do? You have to break that cycle. So you have to start talking about it early, right? My kids are 6 and 9. They've got debit cards. Put some money on there. They're going to pay for their haircuts. They're going to pay for their food. On Friday, when they want to go to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, we're learning about budgeting. We're learning about entrepreneurship. But I want them to understand how to use money as a resource and as a tool. But they have to earn this money. Their room's clean. They have to clean the bathrooms. The oldest one takes the trash, puts it in the big trash can. So financial literacy I didn't come from financial literacy. So it has to come from me. Right. So I just wanted to share that if you guys are interested and you have young children and you're not able to put them on your credit cards yet, which most cases they have to be 13. My kids are not that yet. So we're learning about debit cards. But if you have an account with Chase, they'll give you, if you've been with them for a certain amount of time and you have, your accounts in good standing, excuse me, y'all, they will offer you the debit cards for your children. So I did that. So shout out to Chase for doing that. So you guys look into that. So financial literacy has to come from you. Okay. So I just wanted to share that. Now let's talk about something else. Let's talk about credit, right? Because credit and budgeting, they go hand in hand, right? Because if you don't have enough money, then guess what's going to happen? You're always going to have bad credit because your finances can't protect your credit. Right? And you guys know that I'm a financial literacy consultant now. Been for 3 years. So I help people get better credit scores. I help people increase their income. I help people track to their income. So all of the financial literacy tools that you need, meaning getting to the root of the problem, not just pacifying you, fixing your credit and letting you go. No, we're going to educate you. So you don't need me 6 months from now. Now you're independent. You understand. Because nothing feels worse than having bad credit. You're living in a world that's like a buffet and you can't even eat because you don't have the credit, because you might have made bad decisions in life, because you didn't have the income to protect your credit, right? A lot of us say, well, I wasn't taught about credit, right? I didn't know. I didn't understand the importance of it, but I want you to understand how important it is. The anxiety that you feel, the embarrassment that you feel, the powerless feeling that you feel. So let's teach about credit. All right. And I've talked about this. This was my first episode. Very first episode of this podcast was talking about credit, talking about financial literacy, because you have to, America runs on credit. Cash is king, but credit is power. Credit holds the power. So let's talk about how your credit score is calculated first. Okay. 35% is payment history. You have to pay your bills on time. You have to. You miss a payment and it's reported to the bureaus, it can cost you up to 100 points, right? 30% is the amounts owed, meaning that's your credit card utilization. So if you have a credit card with $1,000 limit, you should never go over $300. I prefer you never go over 10%, right? Idealistically, 30%. I prefer 10%. So you should never go over $100. Right? And then 15% is the history. That's your track record. How long you've had your accounts, right? So lenders can see how long you've been responsible, right? Can they depend on you to pay this money back? Are you reliable? Are you responsible? That's your history. So when you pay off credit cards, never close them out. But if you just have a slew of credit cards, then the ones that you want to start closing out first is the ones you've had the least amount of time, right? So if you have aged history on credit cards, you definitely want to keep those active, right? But 3 credit cards, I always recommend 3. right? One is dangerous because if that bank closes, then all that history is wiped away, right? If you get two and one closes, now you're left with one if one closes, right? But if you have three minimum, right? If one bank closes, you still got two lines of credit. All right. Then 10% is increase, right? I know it's easy. We live in a world that's like a buffet style, right? Somebody offer you a credit card and you say, sure, not knowing that that's costing you anywhere from 6 to 15 points from your credit score every time. It's a hard pull on your credit. So let's try to keep that at a minimum of 2 per year. All right. And then lastly, having a good mixture of credit, installment and revolving loan. So an installment loan would be a mortgage or car payment, and revolving would be a credit card, right? So let me tell you something. If you have a debit card, it's not building your credit and it's not protected. But if you have a credit card, that's how you build your credit. Okay. So if you were going to use your debit card, use your credit card. Just go pay it right off so you can build credit. The better your credit is, the more money you can leverage. Other people's money. Start your business. Purchase your home. Purchase your car. All right? If you don't have a credit card and you can't get one because you have less than perfect credit, then I have the perfect secure card for you that reports to the credit bureaus. The most effective and efficient way to establish credit is through a secure credit card, but it takes on average 6 months. But the card that I have, it cuts it in half. Right? So you can start building credit in 3 months instead of 6 months. So make sure you reach out to me to get that secure credit card. And if you have less than perfect credit, then you also need to reach out to me so I can get you the help that you need, so I can help you. Ladies, we have to do better. The resources are available. We got to start getting our credit fixed so we don't have to stay in relationships that we can't afford to leave because we don't have the finances. Stop being stuck in relationships. You're not staying for the kids. You're staying because you can't afford to leave. And that's unfair to you. So if you need additional income, I'm the person. I want to help 1,000 women this year earn additional income. I want to help 1,000 women get excellent credit this year. Are you in that 1,000? I remember when I went and purchased my last car, I went to Navy Federal Credit Union. Shout out to Navy Federal Credit Union. And I got approved through them. And my credit score was like a 720 at the time. When it got approved with Navy Federal, took the check to the BMW dealership. 15 minutes, me and my dad, we were done. We were done. Because I had the power when I walked in that dealership. It was no negotiating with the finance manager about payments. Oh, can you, lower the price on, like, it was none of that. I walked in there with that check and I said, this is how much I'm going to spend. This is what I want. They had to go to the other BMW dealership to get the truck because somebody was hiding it, putting it on hold for someone, because those X5s, especially up here in the Northeast, like he said they can't keep them in. He's like, that is one of the most popular SUVs. He was like, all the big wigs, they buy them for their wives. So he was like, it's hard to keep them. So they had to go to the other dealership and find it. But we were done. And you know why that process was so easy? Because I had the credit. I had the credit to do it. And I want to see that for 1,000 women this year, 2022. And I know this episode is going to go down in history, but yeah, 1,000 women earn additional income, get your buying power back. And women, I'm telling you, we are bad. We are bad. We are doing some big things. I mean, some big things. I know a lot of women doing it big, but I want to see more women doing it big. It's still not enough of us. We live longer, save less, invest less. I hope this episode was as helpful to you as it was to me, because it put fire in me as well. So every week I come before you, it just lights my fire even more and even more. And the more I light my fire, the more candles I can light. And it's not going to take away from my fire. So we're going to talk more about finances in more episodes to come. But as I said before, this is going to be huge. I see t-shirts. I see galas. I see, a live tour. I see brunches. Girl, yes, you can. I see all of that for this. We're just getting started, ladies. So if you are listening to my voice and you have less than perfect credit, meaning you have less than a 600 credit score, a 650, less than a 700 credit score, let me help you. If you're budgeting and you're coming in over budget every single month and you don't know what to do about it, let me help you. I've made 6 figures as an entrepreneur. I've made 6 figures as an engineer. I have the blueprint. And I want you to understand something about 6 figures. Okay? Back in 2008, 6 figures was a big deal, right? Huge deal. Huge deal. 2022, 6 figures is not a big deal. But you know what's so sad about it? There's so many people not even making 6 figures in 2022. But think about it. If you don't make 6 figures in 2022 and everything is increasing, the housing market is up more than, what is it, 33%? You can't even get a decent house for less than $200,000. So what do you think is going to look like 5 years from now? What is 6 figures going to be 5 years from now? It's going to be like minimum wage. And even people making 6 figures are still living paycheck to paycheck. We're out of the phase of one stream of income. That doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't. Because we live in a world that's a buffet style. So when you got the mass majority trying to eat at the buffet, then who's going to suffer? The less fortunate, right? When you think about the way this world is, you're either poor or you're wealthy. The people that are in between, the working middle class, they suffer the most. They pay the most taxes, unfortunately, right? And if they run into hard times and they need assistance like food stamps or light bill paid or something, they catch the most hell. So let me give you the blueprint to get you in that 5%. So make sure you reach out to me. Send me a message. Send me a personal message on the @SayWhat podcast or @the CEO Shakima. And let's get your finances in order. Let's do a consultation, right? I want to use this platform that I have, not to just get on here and gossip and talk about the current events, right? I want to make sure that every single week that I'm being impactful and that I'm giving value and adding value to your life. Sorry, guys, I don't know what's going on with my voice. I'm drinking plenty of water. So I want to use my platform for that. And we're just getting started. All right. Make sure you get caught up on episodes 1 through 5. This has by far been my best episode this series. And I'm probably going to say that every week. And it's true. That's how I feel. So chameleons, thank you for rocking with me. If you are hearing my voice for the very first time, thank you, because you could have been spending your time doing something else and you chose to be here with me. And to my chameleons, if you've been rocking with me from day one, thank you. I love each and every one of you. And if you want to know why I love you, and I don't know you, because people hate you and don't know you. So why can't I love you? Right? Love is love, and it's all good. And guess what? We'll be right back here next week. Don't forget, when you're listening to the episodes, make sure you tag us so we can have our VIP listener of the week, and we can send you your Cash App. All right? Talk to you guys later.
Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know? Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know?